Instagram is a little slow. Let's see. Okay, fantastic. So I am here with, oh, this is weird. I am here with the phenomenal Remington Blackstaff. And we are here to, well, we're going to focus more on the Durbar's Reckoning, if that's okay. But I just wanted to make sure everyone was aware that his phenomenal The Durbar's Apprentice is already available. And it is wherever you can buy any kind of paperback, ebook, audiobook. But with, again, a focus on the Durbar's Reckoning, we've got to ask, so what was the moment you said, I have got to write this book?
To be honest, when I finished the first one, I thought this has to be a journey, not just a standalone. So I needed more, and I thought, okay, how am I going to do more? Uh, Linear timeline. This he's a boy, so let's see his his journey into manhood rather. And yeah, I thought there was never really any doubt that there'd be more of the same.
Fabulous. So what first sparked the story? You can start from, if you want, from the first book, because since, to your point, this is really more of an overarching journey.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So the first one, I remember exactly how it happened because my son was a few months old,
Oh,
and he
wow.
was, and still is, a terrible sleeper. He's 8 now. He turned 8 a couple of weeks ago. And I'd tried writing 2 manuscripts. I think was I on the third one? And things weren't going anywhere, but I was still writing. I wasn't bothered. And I remember holding him in the early hours of the morning on my arm, phone in one hand, because that's how I write everything. And we had this big canvas painting in my living room, and he would stop crying and just look at this painting. And I remember thinking, it'd be cool to write like a Robin Hood or King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table, but for Nigerians or with
Mhm.
Africans. And I thought, but nah, no one's going to read that. And I texted a very close friend of mine who lives in the Netherlands, and I said, "Yeah, I've got this idea, but I don't really know if it's going to work." And he's like, "Dude, just write it." And so I did, and that's where this began.
All right. We love your friend, just saying.
So do I. I owe him a lot.
So why this story now?
The Durber's Reckoning or the Durber's Apprentice?
I'd say that actually, I would actually say the overarching storyline.
Yeah, I think I feel there's a need for historical references to African culture.
Mm,
Um, I think in Nigeria, because that's my country of origin, that's where I was born, that's where my parents are from. You have that stuff, but in this part of the world, they're just, I mean, I don't want to sound like a cliche, but beyond that, slavery
mm,
and very esoteric references to African history, there isn't really much there. There isn't
mm,
that normalization of there was this, where everyone knows there's wealth on that continent, but there's not this reference of there was this prosperous, vibrant, kingdoms. So I thought I'd like to, because that's kind of what I was brought up with as a child. I was brought up with, Nigerians are strong, confident. We come from a vibrant culture,
mm.
but you don't really see many references to that, uh, apart from our personalities, um, in this part of the world. So I just thought and also I became a father, so I wanted to see that, but I also wanted my son to see that when he was old enough to appreciate that kind of thing.
Yeah, I love it. And I mean, technically, he actually initiated it
Yeah, he
because
did.
of, yeah.
He did.
So what questions were you obsessed with while you were writing?
Yeah. So, what challenges will the main character, the central protagonist, Issa, have?
Mhm.
Where do where do we stop off next on his journey? That's probably the easiest question because I'm very simple. I had set time frames for this one and the third one, which I've also written, but we'll get onto that later. Um, what characters do you introduce? What more tribes are you going to have? How do you expand the universe of the story? Because everyone wants bigger, possibly better in any sequel to anything. Um, and what will the conflicts be for him, for the other characters? And it slowly came about. Yeah, that way.
Okay. Okay. And just to backtrack a little bit, who is the
Mm,
story about,
Issa.
and who
That's
is
that's not
Issa?
giving. So Issa is the central protagonist from book one. He's
Mhm,
a former orphan slave
mhm.
who gets taken in by Master. I won't give his name away in case you haven't read book one. But
Okay.
we have the events of the Dub's Apprentice, and then this is a continuation of that, and we see Issa's journey into manhood. So in the first book, he's 13. This book is set 5 years after that, so he's 18. In those days, he's effectively a man,
Mm,
but it's that transition from being this young boy, being looked after, kind of being forced to grow up quite quickly. And in
mhm,
this one, he is grown up, and it's dealing with the challenges of being an 18-year-old man in that kind of society and having to deal with the harsh realities, but also in this book, some very harsh realities that are completely unpredictable. And the ramifications of those realities in his world, but also for those other characters who have their own challenges and their own stories. And I guess the main thing about this one, the thing I zeroed in on, I hope the most, is the kind of yin and the yang of the
mm.
different characters who are all intertwined.
Oh, I love that.
Thank you.
Uh, Now, in the Durbar's Reckoning, so what's at stake if things go wrong?
Well, Issa is a character who's had a lot of heartbreak
Mm,
and he has to make choices like many characters in this story. And the question is, will that heartbreak worsen? There's, without giving too much away, bits of his heart get put back together again at some point. But then he has to make a choice which could reverse all of that. But so that's, I guess, his emotional survival. I mean, there are risks to his life at different points of the book, but readers will get there. But for the other characters, it is all about survival,
mm,
and the choices are harder. In some ways, a bit more straightforward, I guess, because it's survival of the fittest. Um, yeah, that's kind of it.
okay. Um, and what kind of an emotional ride do you feel the readers will experience?
Ooh. um, it'll be up and definitely down at points.
Mhm,
You will feel Issa's challenging times, but you'll also have empathy for the characters as well. Everyone has a motivation. I mean, in life, everyone has a motivation for everything. In this book, you'll see I don't think there's any such thing as a purely good or a purely bad character. We're shaped by our environment. This book, one of the core themes is nature versus nurture. So
mm,
you will see that play out for every single main character. It won't just be one person that will face heartbreak without giving too much away.
mm, mm. Wow. So, I mean, you've already talked about, I mean, this is a pretty meaty, complex storyline, which is fabulous as far as I'm concerned.
Thank you.
So, what was the hardest parts of this book to write?
I'll tell you one challenging thing was writing, having more female characters.
Mm,
and writing from a woman's perspective, but not being a woman, and trying not to fall into stereotypes. There's
mm,
also, without giving too much away, there's people who come from who have experience in life that or challenges in life that I haven't. So trying not to fall into stereotypes for those because I do want to be sensitive to readers. I mean, I'm trying very hard. I'm trying not to be cryptic, but it's almost impossible without giving away the story. But the reason I had one particular character is because I know people like this.
mm,
These are normal, everyday people, but these are, without giving too much away, these are taboo subjects that would
mm,
definitely have been taboo back then, and they are taboo today in Nigerian society. But that doesn't mean that these people are invisible. And I say these
mm,
people, these are normal people.
mm,
So trying to give these characters with these challenges a voice, but without being stereotypical or cliche, which is why one of these characters is extremely powerful, but he has this, uh, his, how can I put this? His choices, shall we say, or lack thereof, are considered taboo. So that
mm,
was, I think I
mm,
really wanted to highlight that. Um, One could argue because I'm not that way inclined necessarily. Am I the right person? But it doesn't mean that that story shouldn't be told, as far as I'm concerned.
mm. Wow, well said.
Hopefully.
So you mentioned that uh, your son was recently born when you first started writing the story, and that
Mm.
really he was the inspiration for it. Can you expand upon where you were in your life as you uh, wrote the initial three books?
Yeah. So this was, I think it was just before COVID. Yeah,
Mm,
God, it definitely was 2018, and he would have been a few months old.
mm.
I'm still a family physician. They call them general practitioners in England. So I was definitely, I was one of those. I still am one of those. I was doing my other job where I assess people under the Mental Health Act, so people with
Mm,
acute mental illness. Um, and yeah, fatherhood was new to me. So I I'd kind of had my former younger self doing lots of martial arts, traveling the world, living a very exciting bachelor life. Met the love of my life abroad. 2 years later, we had a kid,
mm,
and your perspective changes when you become a father.
mm,
You don't just think about the way you look at the world. Your mind will wander every day about how your child might view the world.
mm,
And something I didn't appreciate before, but you start, even if you're writing fiction, the way you view the world and your life experiences will, even if it's not autobiographical, it will find its way into the world or the lives or the thoughts or the words of your characters.
mm,
So the way all of a sudden when you're a dad, you know, from then on you start leading by example, whether you like it or not, no matter how old they are. And it's, I think, I, from what I'm understanding, it gets harder the older they get. But I think you start thinking about, okay, what kind of things will I say to my son when he's older? What kind of things, what kind of example would I want to give? And that I hope came across in book one.
mm,
And then book two is more about, you know, when you don't necessarily have that person around, you know, how
mm,
do you find your own way? It's if essentially, you can argue it's a light study on adolescence to the backdrop of war.
mm.
I'm
Wow,
far from an adolescent. I'm closer to 50 than I'd like to be, but um, uh, those were the things that went through my mind.
got it. And so you already inferred how writing this changed you, or actually how just the circumstances of your life and the complexities associated with it brought forward the story. But was there anything about writing the story itself that you found changed you?
Um, I'm not sure. I think I'm, as my wife says, I'm very good at compartmentalizing. I think that's definitely a trait that you'll find in a lot of doctors because of what we do, we have to learn to
Mm,
shelve things. So has it changed me? I think in terms of the way I consume books,
mm,
media, stories, not necessarily in a bad way, but I analyze things a lot more. It's I don't you'll know as well. I don't know whether it's a blessing or a curse, but I don't I start deconstructing stories, whether it's a film, a radio play, or a book. Before I just watch it, enjoy it, go to sleep, forget about it. Now I think, yeah, what was the structure of that? So I think I've definitely changed. But I don't think that's a bad thing. I just think that's I don't know, the same way if I guess you're a composer, you analyze music, or if you're a doctor, when you're ill, you start running through things in a different way than you would when ignorance was bliss. So I've definitely changed the way I analyze stories.
mm.
Has it made me a better writer? I don't know. We'll find out. But yeah,
Well, I would argue that you already were a better writer. So,
extremely
um,
kind of you.
so what actually surprised you the most while you were writing?
Um, yeah. Odd things like set pieces. There's a bit in the book where, again, I don't want to give too much away. The characters go somewhere where something pivotal happens. I don't know how, and I'm glad I did. I just thought of the environment that this
Mm.
set piece, this pivotal thing takes place. To be brutally honest, I got no idea where that came from. But I, I was glad I did because I thought, God, this is actually really cool. If this happened, this would create these challenges in the environment, and it starts feeding into the plot. And I think that's one of the really fun things about writing, when you have some random thought that's not anchored in anywhere in reality. It's probably in your subconscious somewhere, but then
Mm,
all of a sudden it goes from a set piece so that the environment almost becomes its own character for that chapter or two or three where things are taking place. And then it starts feeding into the actions of characters and then the reactions of other characters. And then you're like, okay, so for that to take place, maybe this can happen before or afterwards. And it just, you, I think it surprised me probably more with this than the last one, how you have an idea and it just starts sprouting to have other things. Whereas the first one, I think it was like, here's my central idea, here's the beginning, here's the end, these are the bits that will happen. Whereas this one, I think I had more sporadic inspiration that just, yeah, fed into the story.
brilliant.
We'll see.
Now, among uh, the bevy of characters, what character did you feel challenged you the most and why?
Um, it's somewhere between, I can give this away, Beatrice Ali.
Okay.
Um, um, just because he has all the power in the world,
Mm,
but none of the love in the world. And
mm,
he kind of has everything, but he's a deeply unhappy person.
mm,
Um, and yeah, he has a gaping hole in him, and that drives a lot of things. And it's at odds with, my life experience and my upbringing. I'm very grateful, but he, yeah, I think the other challenging character was probably, I think that one remained nameless. I'll stick to Beatrice without giving too much away. Um, but I think as a collective, it's writing about the hardest characters were the ones who were, for argument's sake, the least happy, and the
mm,
ones who life has been less kind to.
mm,
And you want to give them, they do some not so great things, but then trying to humanize them as well and show their motivations. And so you can, I think that the challenging thing I'm getting to is empathizing You got to have
Mm,
empathy for all your characters,
mm,
regardless of what they do. So Beatrice is one, but then there's a collective of characters who shall remain nameless, who, again, life has not been kind to them, but it's how do you humanize them? Because if you look at what they do for a living, it's not good. But actually, what choice have they had, and how much do they care about each other? And all they have is each other. And it's trying to maintain that thread while
mm,
they're doing these various terrible things to other people. But there's a reason. So I guess it's giving people who on the surface might be doing bad things motivation,
mm.
and humanizing them. I think I've probably waffled my way to an answer there.
No, actually, that's a brilliant answer. I think oftentimes people don't realize that the most effective uh, bad guys are actually those who are humanized and who the fact that you do reveal or you enable the reader to experience and understand what made the individual not so great is imperative for it to be a really effective story, and you do it beautifully. So
Thank you.
what almost didn't make it into the book, and why did you keep it?
There is a character who comes in very briefly, and it was going to be a male character. My wife reads the first drafts of everything I do,
As she should.
and she's the smartest woman I know, and she just said, "Yeah, character's interesting, but why don't you just make him a woman?" And I was like, "Yeah, okay." There was no reason. But no, there was, and these are the things you, and it was actually a really useful lesson for me, because we write what we know, but I think it's quite healthy to try and write about what you don't know. And it's going
Mm,
to sound a bit disingenuous, but it's not. It's like you you live and breathe and you coexist with women, but you can't just write stories about men, because the world is not just full of men. So if you've got this important character, why not make her a woman? It's like, oh yeah. Again, these are things that don't come natural to you because you're used to functioning, you're living in your own head as a man. But actually,
mm,
just expand your horizons, because women have been doing it for the whole time. And it actually made the characters more interesting, and it actually led to a major character in book three.
mm.
So it's actually shaped the next book. But had she not said, just try making it a woman, maybe? She didn't tell me, it was just a suggestion. But it actually added a whole new. You won't see it so much in this one,
Mm,
but in the next book, it's pretty much she's a main character in the next book, and it's she's a focal point of the next book, and
mm,
that's that perspective that my wife encouraged. Actually, hopefully, we'll see when I submit it to you, runs through the next book, and it's I've tried with book three. I know we're talking about book two. I'm trying to kind of actually change the lens a little bit, and I will happily take criticism from any women readers who can give me their advice. I will take it humbly. But yeah, I think that character, again, she'll remain nameless, but she was almost a man and
mm.
very one-dimensional, but she won't be from now on.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Um, who do you feel will fall hardest for, I would say for Durbar's Reckoning, but I'd more so say for the overall series?
Mm. For hardest, as in the reader, you mean, or
Mhm,
uh good question. Think, as in fall in love with, or
mhm.
yeah, anyone
Or
who likes. Go
or
on.
just enjoy either.
Oh, to be honest, anyone. um, I think if you like, they're not. There's a lot of action in them, but if you like action, adventure, character development, you like a little bit of history or African history,
Mhm.
you will enjoy them. A good friend of mine, his 10-year-old son wanted to read the first one, and at first I was a bit like, okay. And he said, no, 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 trust me, he'll enjoy it. And to my surprise, he absolutely loved it. His dad, who's my
Mm,
age, loved it. I think if you like adventure, you like action, if you like, with this one, I think more so than the last one, if you like things without sounding too grandiose, they're on an epic scale.
mm,
It's not just fighting. I think this one has more. The first one has an emotional core to it. This one does, but it's spread among many different characters. So
mm.
if you like drama, a little bit of fighting, a little bit of action, um, conflict, heartbreak, I think you'll enjoy this. So if I had to narrow it down to a group, it's difficult. Young adults, people who love historical fiction, people who love fiction in general. My
Mm.
wife does not read any books like this at all, but she says she loves this book. So um,
So
I think
you did
anyone who,
okay.
yeah, I think anyone who likes a bloody good story will enjoy this book.
Brilliant. Uh, is there anything that readers have said they were absolutely not expecting?
Um, Not yet, no. Bearing
Okay.
in mind there've not been that many yet, but
Mm.
not yet.
Okay. That's fair. That's fair. If someone reads the first 20 pages, what keeps them going?
Uh, Seeing if this person makes it out of where
Oh,
he is alive, um, and then seeing what happens to him next.
okay. Mm. Okay. Fair. Fair. In one sentence, why should someone, I would say, not only pick up the Durbar's Reckoning, but also pick up the Durbar's Apprentice?
If you want action adventure with an emotional core and to be cast into another world and another time,
Mm.
very different to what you already know, then you'll enjoy these books.
Fabulous. And is there anything that you'd like to leave our viewers with?
Um, uh, Read the books, enjoy them. Um, by all means, give me your feedback.
Mm.
Book three is I've written the first draft, but I'm always open to suggestion. Um, yeah, just read them, enjoy them. Let me know what you think about them. Um, Tell your friends about them if you like them. Yeah, that's all I have to say.
And don't forget, please review it. Review the books
Yes,
on
yes.
Goodreads, Amazon, wherever you actually check out books. Please, please, please. We love reviews. We so appreciate them. And with that, I just want to thank you so, so much
Thank you.
and have a absolutely phenomenal rest of your Friday.
Thank you very
And
much. Thank you for having me.
thank you.